What if I told you that making your bed like a professional could completely transform not just your bedroom, but your entire day? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact techniques that hotels and housekeeping experts use to create that crisp, fresh look that makes you feel accomplished the moment you wake up. Here's the thing. Most of us rush through making our beds or skip it entirely, thinking it doesn't matter since we'll just mess it up again tonight. But what we don't realize is that a properly made bed sets the tone for everything else. It's your first victory of the day, and it creates a ripple effect that makes your whole room feel cleaner and more organized. The stakes here are higher than you might think. When you master these professional techniques, you'll save time, reduce stress, and create a bedroom that feels like a peaceful retreat instead of a chaotic mess. But if you keep doing what you're doing now, you'll miss out on that daily boost of confidence and the calm feeling that comes from having one perfectly organized space in your home. I'm going to reveal the secret steps that professional housekeepers follow, the ones that make the difference between a sloppy bed and one that looks like it belongs in a magazine. Stay with me, because the last tip will surprise you and change everything about how you think about this simple morning routine. Tip 1. Start with a completely clear surface. Place them on a chair or dresser, somewhere they won't get in your way. This might seem like extra work, but trust me, it's the foundation of everything else we're going to do. Now take a good look at your mattress and sheets. Are the fitted sheets pulling up at the corners? Are there wrinkles or bunched up areas? This is your chance to fix these problems properly, something you can't do when you're working around obstacles. Smooth out your fitted sheet completely, making sure it's taut at all four corners. If it keeps popping up, your sheet might be too small for your mattress, or your mattress might be thicker than standard. Either way, getting this base layer perfect is crucial because everything else builds on top of it. Think of this like preparing a canvas before painting. An artist wouldn't start painting on a wrinkled, uneven surface, and you shouldn't build your bed on an imperfect foundation. This step alone will make your finished bed look exponentially better, even if you do everything else exactly the same way you always have. The time you invest in clearing and perfecting this base layer will save you frustration later and give you that professional result you're looking for. Plus, there's something satisfying about having a clean slate to work with, knowing that every layer you add from here will contribute to that fresh, organized look. Tip 2. Master the hospital corner technique. The sheet should extend about 8 to 10 inches beyond the mattress on all sides. If you don't have enough overhang, your corners won't stay tight throughout the day. Now comes the magic. At the foot of the bed, lift the corner of the sheet and create a 45-degree fold, almost like you're wrapping a present. The sheet should form a triangle shape that points toward the head of the bed. Hold this triangle up with one hand while you use your other hand to tuck the hanging portion of sheet under the mattress. Lower that triangular flap down and tuck it under the mattress as well. The result should be a corner so sharp and clean that it looks like it was cut with a knife. Repeat this process on both corners at the foot of the bed, and if you're feeling ambitious, do the same at the head of the bed. This technique works because it eliminates all the loose fabric that usually bunches up and makes beds look messy. Instead of having saggy, loose sheets that come untucked during the day, you'll have a foundation that stays tight and neat for hours. Professional housekeepers swear by this method because it's not just about appearance. Hospital corners actually make your bed more comfortable to sleep in because the sheets stay in place instead of getting twisted and bunched up around your feet during the night. Tip 3. Layer your blankets and comforters strategically. Start with your blanket or light coverlet first, not your comforter. This creates depth and dimension that you simply can't achieve with a single layer. Your blanket should be folded down about 6 to 8 inches from the head of the bed, creating a clean line that frames your pillows beautifully. Make sure this blanket is centered perfectly on your bed, with equal amounts hanging over each side. This is where many people go wrong. They eyeball it instead of actually measuring or checking. Take an extra 30 seconds to walk around your bed and make sure everything is symmetrical. Now add your comforter or duvet on top. But here's the professional secret. Don't let it cover the folded edge of your blanket underneath. Instead, position it so that elegant folded edge remains visible, creating a layered look that adds visual interest and sophistication to your bed. The comforter should also be perfectly centered, but it can extend slightly further down the bed than your blanket. This creates that cascading effect you see in high-end hotels, where each layer is visible and contributes to the overall design. If you're using a duvet, make sure it's evenly distributed inside the cover and that the corners are properly aligned. Nothing ruins the professional look like a lopsided duvet that's bunched up in one corner of its cover. And if you're enjoying these tips, just imagine having everything organized in one place, with even easier tricks to keep your home clean, fresh, and stress-free every day. To make your life even simpler, I've prepared something special that can truly transform your daily routine. The link is right there in the first comment. Just click and check it out. Don't miss this chance. Your home and your time deserve it. Tip 4. Perfect your pillow arrangement. The trick is to fluff them properly before positioning them. Don't just pat them down. Actually grab them by the corners and give them a good shake to redistribute the filling evenly. Place these pillows so they're touching each other with no gaps in between. This creates a solid foundation for the rest of your pillow arrangement and prevents that messy look where pillows are scattered randomly across the head of your bed. If you have decorative pillows or shams, these go in front of your sleeping pillows. But here's what most people don't know. The key is to vary the sizes and textures while maintaining symmetry. If you have two large decorative pillows, place them in front of your sleeping pillows. If you have smaller accent pillows, they go in the very front. The professional secret is in the positioning. Your decorative pillows shouldn't be standing straight up like soldiers. Instead, let them lean slightly against the sleeping pillows behind them. This creates depth and makes the whole arrangement look more natural and inviting. Don't forget about the sides of your pillows. Make sure all the seams and tags are facing toward the back where they won't be visible. It's a small detail, but it's these little touches that separate a professionally made bed from one that just looks thrown together. Tip 5. Create perfect symmetry. These might seem like tiny details, but they're what your eye notices subconsciously when determining whether a bed looks professionally made or not. Use your hands to measure instead of just eyeballing distances. For example, if your comforter hangs 6 inches over the edge on the left side, make sure it hangs exactly 6 inches on the right side too. This precision is what distinguishes amateur bed making from professional quality results. Pay attention to your pillows as well. If you have 2 sleeping pillows, they should be identical in height and fluffiness. If one looks deflated compared to the other, take a moment to fluff it up so they match. The same goes for decorative pillows. They should be positioned at mirror images of each other. Even the wrinkles in your bedding should be symmetrical. If there's a natural fold or drape on one side of your comforter, try to create a similar fold on the other side. This doesn't mean your bed should look stiff or unnatural, but rather that any imperfections should be balanced and intentional looking. The goal is to create a bed that looks like it was made by someone who cares about details and takes pride in their work. When everything is perfectly balanced and symmetrical, your bed becomes a focal point that enhances the entire room rather than just being a place to sleep. Tip 6. Smooth out every wrinkle. Spread it out completely, then smooth it with your hands from the center outward, pushing any wrinkles toward the edges where they can be tucked away. For your blankets and comforters, the technique is slightly different. These heavier items need to be shaken out before you place them on the bed. Give them a good snap in the air like you're shaking out a tablecloth, then let them settle naturally onto the bed before you start smoothing. Use long sweeping motions when you're smoothing out wrinkles. Short, patting motions can actually create more wrinkles by pushing fabric in different directions. Instead, place your hands flat on the bedding and sweep from the head of the bed toward the foot, or from the center toward the sides. Pay special attention to the areas where different layers meet. The junction between your sheet and blanket, or between your blanket and comforter, are prime spots for wrinkles to hide and multiply. Take extra time to smooth these transition areas so they blend seamlessly together. If you're dealing with particularly stubborn wrinkles, especially in synthetic fabrics, try smoothing them out while the fabric is still slightly warm from your dryer. The residual heat makes most fabrics more pliable and easier to smooth into place. Remember, the goal isn't perfection that looks unnatural, but rather the absence of distracting wrinkles that make your bed look hastily made or neglected. Tip 7. Use the envelope method for fitted sheets. Start by making sure you have the right size sheet for your mattress. A sheet that's too small will constantly pop off the corners, while one that's too large will bunch up and create wrinkles. Begin at the head of the bed and work your way around clockwise. At each corner, pull the fitted sheet down as far as it will go, then tuck the excess fabric underneath the mattress. But here's the key. Don't just stuff it under randomly. Fold the excess fabric neatly before tucking it, creating clean, sharp corners. The envelope method gets its name from the way you fold the excess fabric. Instead of bunching it up, fold it over itself like you're sealing an envelope. This creates a flat, smooth surface underneath the mattress that won't create lumps or bumps. Work systematically around the bed, making sure each corner is tight before moving to the next one. If you try to do all 4 corners quickly, you'll end up pulling the first corners loose when you're working on the last ones. Test your work by gently pulling on the sheet at different points. It should be taut across the entire surface of the mattress with no loose areas or bunching. If you find loose spots, don't just smooth them over. Actually lift that section and retuck it properly. This method takes a few extra minutes, but it ensures that your bed will still look neat and professional at the end of the day, not just first thing in the morning when you initially make it. Tip 8. Master the art of the blanket fold. This isn't about complex origami-style folding, but rather about creating clean, intentional lines that show you've put thought and care into making your bed. For your top blanket or coverlet, the fold at the head of the bed should be precise and consistent across the entire width. Measure approximately 6 to 8 inches down from where your pillows end, then create a sharp fold that runs in a perfectly straight line from one side of the bed to the other. The secret to a professional-looking fold is in the preparation. Before you fold, make sure the blanket is completely smooth and evenly positioned. Any wrinkles or uneven areas in the blanket will be magnified once you create the fold, so take time to get the foundation right. When you make the fold, don't just bend the fabric over. Instead, create a deliberate crease by running your hand firmly along the fold line. This crease should be sharp enough that it holds its shape throughout the day without constant adjustment. The folded edge should create a clean horizontal line that frames your pillows beautifully. This line serves as a visual anchor that makes your entire bed arrangement look intentional and well-planned, rather than random and thrown together. If you're working with multiple layers, each fold should be slightly different in position to create that cascading effect we talked about earlier. Your sheet might fold down 6 inches, your blanket 8 inches, and your comforter 10 inches, creating visual depth and interest. Practice this technique until you can create that sharp, straight fold quickly and consistently. It's one of those details that immediately signals to anyone who sees your bed that you know what you're doing and take pride in your home. Tip 9. Add the finishing touches. These are the small details that might seem insignificant individually, but together, they create that polished, professional appearance that makes your bed look like it belongs in a magazine. Start by checking all your edges. Walk around your entire bed and make sure that everything is hanging evenly and at the same distance from the floor on all sides. Even a difference of just an inch can make your bed look lopsided and careless. Look for any tags, seams, or other unsightly elements that might be showing. All tags should be tucked away or positioned so they're not visible from normal viewing angles. Seams on pillowcases and shams should face toward the back or underneath, where they won't distract from the clean appearance. Pay attention to the corners of your pillows and cushions. They should all be properly filled out and sharp, not deflated or rounded. If necessary, fluff and reshape each pillow individually to make sure they're all presenting their best appearance. Consider the overall color coordination and make sure everything works together harmoniously. If you have patterns in your bedding, make sure they are aligned properly and not creating visual chaos. Sometimes a small adjustment in how a patterned pillowcase is positioned can make a big difference in the overall look. Don't forget about the area around your bed. A professionally made bed can look out of place if it's surrounded by clutter or mess. Take a moment to straighten your nightstands, put away any clothes or personal items, and make sure the floor around your bed is clean and clear. These finishing touches only take a few extra minutes, but they're what transform a functional bed into a beautiful focal point that enhances your entire bedroom and makes you feel proud of your space. Tip 10. Maintain your work throughout the day. When you sit on the edge to put on shoes or socks, sit in the same spot each time, rather than randomly disturbing different areas. This concentrates any wrinkles or displacement to one small area that's easy to smooth out. If you need to lie down during the day for a quick rest, do it on top of your covers rather than getting underneath them. This preserves all the careful layering and tucking work you did in the morning while still allowing you to be comfortable. Keep a small pillow or cushion nearby that you can use for reading or watching television instead of disturbing your carefully arranged decorative pillows. This way, your bed maintains its magazine-ready appearance even when you're using it for relaxation. Before you go to sleep each night, take just 30 seconds to straighten any areas that have become disturbed during the day. A quick smoothing of the comforter and re-fluffing of the pillows will ensure that your bed looks intentional and cared for right up until bedtime. Train yourself to notice when something looks off and fix it immediately, rather than letting small problems compound throughout the day. A pillow that's slightly askew in the afternoon will look completely disheveled by evening if you don't address it promptly. Remember, the goal isn't to have a bed that's too precious to use, but rather one that maintains its beautiful appearance, even with normal daily interaction. With these maintenance habits, your professionally made bed will look great all day long. Conclusion. These aren't complicated tricks that require special skills or expensive tools. They're simple, systematic approaches that anyone can master with just a little practice and attention to detail. The real power of these techniques goes far beyond just having a neat bed. When you start your day by creating something beautiful and orderly, it sets a positive tone that carries through everything else you do. That sense of accomplishment and control over your environment can transform not just your bedroom, but your entire approach to your daily routine. Remember, the difference between an ordinary bed and an extraordinary one isn't about having the most expensive sheets or the fluffiest comforter. It's about taking the time to do things properly and paying attention to the details that most people overlook. These small investments of time and effort compound into results that look and feel dramatically different. Don't try to implement every technique at once. Pick one or two that resonated with you most strongly and focus on mastering those first. Once they become automatic habits, add another technique, then another. Before you know it, making your bed like a professional will be second nature. Here's my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, try just 3 of these techniques when you make your bed. Notice how different it looks and how different it makes you feel. Then come back and tell me which technique made the biggest difference for you. Which tip surprised you the most, and which one are you most excited to perfect? Your bedroom transformation starts with that first perfectly made bed, so what are you waiting for?